I used to work 16-hour days and barely make rent back in the day. Now I'll work a fraction of that and make over $200,000 a month. What changed wasn't the tactics, it wasn't the strategy, it wasn't the business model. It was something nobody talks about. And I'm about to show you exactly what that is. So here's what most people get wrong about success. They think it's about the hustle, the grind, working harder than everybody else. And I believed that too for years. I read every business book, learned every tactic, worked until I was exhausted, sacrificed sleep, health, and my relationships. And you know what? I got burned out. I was broke, I was frustrated. I was doing everything right, and nothing was working. Then something shifted. Not externally, internally. I stopped forcing, I stopped grinding, I stopped white knuckling my way through every day. And everything changed. The same actions that used to produce nothing started producing everything. The opportunities I've been started chasing me. The money I was so desperate for started flowing in like it was easy. $200,000 a month consistently, and it feels almost effortless. Now, it did take some time. So today, I'm going to show you exactly what happened. The shift, the state, the science behind it. Again, this isn't woo-woo. This is backed by neuroscience, psychology, and the research of peak performance experts. And more importantly, it's backed by my own results and the results of people I taught this to. So here's what we're covering. First, why grinding actually is keeping you broke and the science that proves it. Second, what flow state actually is and why it's the real secret behind every success I've ever had. And third, how to access it on command so you can stop forcing and start receiving. This is the video I wish I made for me 5 years ago. It would have saved me years of struggle. So let's get into it. The shift that took me from broke to $200,000 a month and why flow state is everything and how to access it on command. Part 1, why grinding keeps you broke. The hustle trap. You've been sold a lie. The lie says work harder, grind longer, sleep less, sacrifice more, and success will come. But here's what actually happens. You work 12 to 16-hour days, you're constantly stressed and exhausted, your decision making suffers, you miss obvious opportunities, results don't match the effort, so you grind harder, and the cycle repeats. Ariana Huffington said, "We think mistakenly that success is the result of the amount spent we put in at work instead of the quality of time we put in." Now, the science against grinding. Research shows that after 50 hours per week, productivity drops dramatically. After 55 hours, you're getting almost nothing extra done, but you are damaging your health, creativity, and decision making. As you can see in this chart here, here's the hours that we've worked, the productivity, and how much it drops by quality, especially after 60, 70 hours plus. So you're not being outworked, you're just being outflowed. The people making real money are not grinding 70 hours. They're spending 3 to 4 hours in deep flow state and out producing everyone. The desperation frequency. Here's what nobody tells you about energy. Desperation repels, ease attracts. When you're grinding from a place of stress and scarcity, here's what happens. You make fear-based decisions. You take bad deals because you're desperate. People sense the neediness and they pull away. Opportunities don't flow to frantic energy. So when you're operating from flow and ease, you make clear, confident decisions. You attract better opportunities. People want to work with you, and money flows to calm certainty. Naval Ravikant here says, the more you know, the less you diversify. The more you in flow, the less you need to force. So I need to tell you something that might hurt. The harder you're working, the more you're pushing away success. I know that sounds backwards. I know you've been told hustle is the answer, but think about it. When you're grinding, you're stressed. And when you're stressed, you make bad decisions. When you make bad decisions, you dig a deeper hole. So you grind harder and the cycle continues. I lived this for years, working 16-hour days, barely making rent, wondering what was wrong with me. Nothing was wrong with me, I was just in the wrong state. Stress and desperation emit a frequency, and that frequency repels the very thing you're chasing. Money doesn't flow to desperation. Opportunities don't flow to exhaustion. Success does not flow to force. It flows to ease, to clarity, to alignment. The moment I stopped grinding and started flowing, everything changed. Stop working harder, start working in flow. That's the shift. So, part two, what is flow state? The definition: the flow state is a mental state where you're fully immersed in an activity, feeling energized, focused, and enjoying the process. Time disappears, self consciousness vanishes, action and awareness merge. Psychologist Mahali C. discovered and named the state after decades of research. He said, "The best moments in our lives are not the passive, receptive, relaxing times. The best moments usually occur if a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile." So, what happens in your brain? During flow, your brain undergoes dramatic changes. So, one of them being transient hypofrontality. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for self criticism, doubt, and overthinking, temporarily deactivates. This is why you feel out of your head during flow. Number two, the neurochemical cocktail. So your brain releases a powerful combination of these chemicals, right? Dopamine, you got endorphins, anandamide, all these ones. So what do they cause? Dopamine, for example, focus, motivation, reward, anticipation. Other effects you feel: arousal, alertness, attention. Endorphins bring in pain relief, pleasure, and euphoria. And of course, serotonin, well being, calm, and the afterglow. So, Stephen Kotler, the author of The Rise of Superman, says flow is the source of intrinsic motivation. It may be the biggest neurochemical cocktail of all. The 500% advantage. So, research from McKinsey and Company found that executives in flow are 500,000% more productive than out of flow. 5 times, not 5%. So what this means is in 1 hour of flow equals 5 hours of normal work. 2 hours of flow, an entire workday. 4 hours is what takes most people a week. The grinders are working 70 hours and getting crushed by the people working 20 hours in flow. So let me tell you what's happening in your brain when you're in a flow state. Your prefrontal cortex, the part that overthinks, doubts, second guesses, it goes quiet. Your brain releases a cocktail of neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, endorphins, anandamide, and serotonin. That's more feel-good chemicals that almost any drug can produce. Time disappears, self-doubt disappears, effort disappears. You become one with the task. Ideas come from nowhere. Solutions appear instantly. Hours feel like minutes. And here's the crazy part. Studies show you're up to 500% more productive in flow state. 5 times. Not 5%, 5 times. 1 hour in flow is worth 5 hours of normal work. So while everyone else is grinding for 12 hours in a stressed, distracted state, you can work 3 hours in flow and outproduce them all. Again, this isn't motivation, this is neuroscience. And once you learn to access it on command, the game changes forever. So why flow creates wealth? The quality multiplier. So in flow, you don't just work faster, you work better. Your pattern recognition increases, your creativity expands, your problem solving becomes almost supernatural. Ideas that would never occur to your stress grinding brain appear effortlessly in flow. The $1,000,000 idea doesn't come from grinding, it comes from flow. Steve Jobs said it here best: creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, they just saw something. The attraction principle. When you operate from flow, your energy changes. You're calm, confident, magnetic. People want to work with you, invest in you, buy from you. Opportunities find you instead of you chasing them. This is not woo-woo. It's documented in research on charisma, leadership, and influence. So people in flow states consistently rate as more likable, trustworthy, and competent, even by strangers watching video recordings. So the compounding effect, what does this do and how does it affect you? So the grinding path and there's the flow path. For example, you can work 12 hours, low quality output. You can work 4 hours, exceptional output. You could be exhausted, make poor decisions. On the flow path, you're energized, you make clear decisions. And another one here, desperate energy repels opportunity. And guess what? Calm energy attracts opportunity. Compound these differences over a year, over 5 years, and the gap becomes massive. So, how to enter flow on command. This is where it gets exciting. The flow triggers. Flow is not random, it does have triggers. Conditions that make it inevitable. Stephen Cutler identified 17 flow triggers, and here are the most powerful ones. Number one, eliminate distractions. Phone off, notifications dead, door closed, no one can reach you. Number two, single task, one thing at a time, not 3 tabs, not a to do list, one objective. Number three, challenge skill balance. The task should be 4% harder than your current skill because easy equals boredom, hard equals anxiety, and that sweet spot equals flow. Number four, clear goals. Know exactly what success looks like for this session. Vague goals kill flow. Number five, immediate feedback. Know in real time if you're winning or losing. Track progress visibly. Number six, high consequences. We gotta have something at stake here. Deadline, commitment, skin in the game. And number seven, deep embodiment. Engage multiple senses, move your body, get physical with the work. Stack multiple triggers and flow becomes almost automatic. So the daily flow protocol. Here's my exact daily routine for accessing flow. The morning time, no phone for the first 90 minutes, no email, no notifications. Protect your mental state. And we want to block in, some blocks for flow. So what does that look like? 90 minutes to 120 minutes of deep work sessions, one task, all triggers activated, and this is where the magic happens. And we also need recovery, 20, 30-minute times, some breaks, walks, nature, no screens, let the brain consolidate. Now we go for the second block. Optional second flow session, same rules, most days one's needed. And in the afternoon, meetings, calls, admin work, the shallow work, never schedule this in the morning. Cal Newport said, a deep work habit requires you to treat your time with respect. Schedule deep work and protect it with intense curiosity. People think flow is random. It's not. Flow has triggers, conditions, and you can engineer it. Here's the simplest version. 1. Remove all distractions. Phone off, notifications dead, and no one can reach you. 2. Single task, one thing, not 3 tabs, not a to-do list, one clear objective. Number 3, challenge skill balance. The task should stretch you slightly, not too easy, but not too hard. It's that sweet spot where you have to focus, but you're capable. 4, clear goals. Know exactly what success looks like for this session. Vague goals will kill the flow. And 5, immediate feedback. You need to know if you're winning or losing in real time. Stack these conditions and flow becomes almost automatic. Your brain has no choice but to lock in. I do this every morning. No phone until noon, one project, full focus. That's when I make my money. That's when I have my ideas, and that's when I build. Not in the chaos, but in the flow. Set the conditions, enter the state, watch everything change. Now, the flow lifestyle, beyond sessions, flow as a way of life. Flow is just not for work blocks. It is a way of operating. Flow versus force, everything in your life. Relationships, for example. Am I forcing this or does it flow? Business decisions, am I pushing or is it pulling me? Opportunities, am I chasing or am I attracting? And goals, does this feel like struggle or expansion? Resistance is a signal. It means you're off path. Bruce Lee said it here best, be water, my friend. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Designing for flow. Your environment either supports flow or kills it. So do an environment audit. Is your workspace free of visual clutter? Can you work without interruption? Do the people around you respect your focus time? Is your schedule designed for deep work or just meetings? Does your morning routine protect or destroy your mental state? Every element of your life should be designed to maximize flow. Now, the bottom line here, again, this shift took me from broke to $200,000 a month, but it wasn't just a tactic, it was a state. I stopped forcing and started flowing. I stopped grinding and started gliding. I stopped working 16 hours of scattered stress and started working 4 hours of focused flow, and everything changed. Success isn't supposed to feel like suffering. If it does, I think you're doing it wrong. The universe rewards alignment, not exhaustion. Stop grinding, start flowing, and watch everything change. So let me bring this full circle. 5 years ago, I was grinding myself to the ground, working more hours than anyone I knew, and I was broke, stressed, and miserable. I thought the answer was more tactics, more strategies, more hustle. It wasn't. The answer was a state, a way of operating, a frequency. When I learned to access flow states consistently, everything shifted. The same business, the same skills, the same 24 hours, but completely different results. $200,000 a month, and it feels easier than when I was making nothing. And that's the paradox nobody tells you. Success isn't supposed to feel like a constant struggle, and if it does, you're doing it wrong. The universe doesn't reward suffering, it rewards alignment. Flow is alignment. Flow is ease. Flow is you operating at your highest level without burning yourself out. And here's what I want you to understand. This isn't something only special people can access. Flow is your natural state. You've been in it before, playing sports, playing music, deep in a project you loved. You just haven't learned to access it on command. Now you have the framework. Now you have the triggers. Now you have the science. The only question is, will you use it? Will you stop glorifying the grind and start prioritizing the flow? Will you stop forcing and start allowing? Will you trust that ease can be more profitable than struggle? That's the shift. That's what took me from broke to $200,000 a month. And it's available to you right now. If this shifted something inside you, please subscribe. I talk about this stuff every week, not the tactics everyone else teaches, but the internal game that actually creates external results. Please subscribe, drop a comment, tell me what's one thing that you're going to stop forcing. And I'll see you on the next one. Go find your flow. Thank you very much.